finally getting the air management system on the Brat Bunny. We are at Entice Motorsport to install the new ACCUAIR Endo-CVT system. Where's John at? There he is, he's running away. There is actually a lot of electrical work in addition to the plumbing that needs to be done for the ACCUAIR Endo-CVT system. Instead of kind of having your trunk be really messy with compressors and lines all over the place, this system by ACCUAIR is self-containing everything in the tank. We have temporary lines in right now. This is the big day that I've been waiting for. I did lay some of this stuff out already. We have our wiring here. We have the tubing for all the plumbing, some hardware fittings. We have our touchpad, and here are our height sensors. This is the ECU for everything, and this is the tank. So I actually got the 5 gallon over the 3 gallon. I measured my trunk and I had enough room, so I figure why not? And it's aluminum, it's our aluminum tank with the raw finish. Aluminum 5 gallon tank from ACCUAIR. This is their Endo-CVT. Everything is internal, which is amazing, and this is why the back of the car is gonna look so much cleaner than the ones that are currently on the market. They usually have a lot more plumbing and wires coming out and the compressors externally. So this one has everything self-contained inside. So inside there are 2 Wabco compressors. You've done a couple of these, right?
I've done a couple of them. I think I helped Dustin out with one, and then I helped out a friend do one. They're pretty cool systems. I like it.
There's wiring, there's plumbing, and then there's also mounting hardware with the E-level sensors, the height sensors, yep. And getting just everything to talk to each other.
Dude, this system's awesome. It's like really quiet. As opposed like the system I have in my car is really annoyingly loud. These things are quiet as hell. So right now we're not gonna worry about making anything look pretty. We're just gonna lay out everything where it's supposed to sit.
All right, John, what are we doing? Okay. What are we starting with?
Well, we're gonna have to run this wiring.
For the height sensors?
For the height sensors,
okay.
So. Set up everything, all the wiring in the trunk, run it from the trunk to the front, to the rear, and just start working our way from there.
We're gonna be drilling a hole through here to route everything through so that it is routed evenly from each side. Damn. I always say I don't really understand how there's not more girls working on cars because we can fit everywhere. I have small hands too. I don't get how guys do it sometimes.
I know. I feel fat working in there.
That is all clean. Now, so I think John's going under the car and he's gonna pull the wires through. The longer ones are gonna be going to the front because they have to travel further to the front of the car. The shorter ones are going to the rear, and they're all labeled on here as well. Sensor 1, then we have 2, 3, 4.
It's just the height sensor wiring and the airline. Those are going to be the only things you run underneath the car. Okay. Everything else can be from in here and the power wire straight to the front. Everything else, all the modules will be here. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
This connects to the actual module itself, the little, it's like a little ECU type thing. And then that is hooked up to this, and it pretty much, you got the left side of the car lines coming out here, and the right side of the car lines coming out here, the air lines. This just tells the module what each wheel height, what each shock height is. You got your power, the power wires here, and then all this goes to the module.
I still don't know what I'm doing with the trunk yet. I know eventually I'm gonna put maybe some amps or subwoofers, something in the back, but I don't have any of that stuff yet. So at this point, the main goal is to just get everything mounted, the system installed, plumbed, wired, and working, and then eventually we'll move on to doing a full design for the trunk. But for now, the priority is just getting this working.
We'll mount one here. It'll be there. And then we can even run the wire through here, through this hole, so you can't see it. And then we'll put the other module right here on the right side of that.
I'm so glad the 5-gallon fits perfectly. Like, we're not even really pinched on each side. And that's the largest one. It just looks massive on the outside of the car, and then right when it's inside, it doesn't look as big anymore. I got it. Yeah. So we are running 2 wires to the front of the car through the side panel right here. And we're just pushing them through the back seat, down the side, and into here. And one of them is the wire to the battery. The battery cable that came with the kit is just a little bit too short, so we just got some wire. And this is sort of our extension for it. So this is what came with it. This is a battery extension that we are routing the same way with the wire for the touchpad. We're gonna zip tie all of this here, following this all the way up. The battery wire will of course go to the battery, and then the touchpad wire we're gonna route up here and through the center.
Plug for the touchpad goes all the way on the left. The plug for the height sensors is the second one.
The next thing that we are going to be doing is laying out all of the plumbing and wiring. So that is the plumbing for the actual air struts in all 4 corners, and then the height sensors as well in all 4 corners. So all of that needs to be routed individually. Right now we are just lining this up and mocking it up, not fully installing it. The only place we're going to fully install it is at the tank. So at least the tank will keep everything organized, and then we can zip tie it at the end here before making the final connections. But that is our plan of attack for the actual airline. And then for the height sensors, I mean, pretty much same thing. We're going to be making its path that's going to be laid out through the car, and not fully installing it at the height sensor, but for now, zip tying it, getting it in the right place. So we have the 4 wires right here. 1 and 2 go in the front, and then 3 and 4 go in the rear. They are all going through that hole that we made initially. So everything is going to be plumbed through there. Now we are starting on plumbing the air line, really just routing everything.
What'd you do that for? I wasn't ready.
Gibby, take over vlog.
Holy shit, Collette. This lighting makes you look so buff. Oh shit. How we look like in the restaurant. Damn. That's how we be looking in the camera, huh? Dirty mirror, but it's cool.
Okay, so
This is what we do here. Alright, how do you stop this?
It don't ever stop, Gibby. It don't ever stop.
Oh, that was good. Bro, get this. I have 3 people. Get this. Get this. Get this. Get this. Look. I'm about to win.
Yeah, bro?
I'm about to win.
Yeah, bro? Yeah?
Brawl Stars, beat me. Bet you can't. Bet you can't. Whose jacket is this?
Mine.
No. Sorry.
Dre finished routing the wire for our touchpad. So it's covered up now, but it continued down here, which you guys saw, and then went under carpet, and boom, got its own little area right in here. So that is taken care of, which is awesome. And now we are just finishing up wiring the battery cable. And again, this is the one that we had to extend. Now we're just gonna fisheye this to the terminal.
The purple wire is hooked up to your headlights, so it's every time you open your door, it just turns on the remote. Oh, okay. The little remote
cool.
turns on. It's kind of like, you know, when you open your door, the light turns on,
Yeah.
and then it shuts off. It does that.
Okay, so what's happening now?
What's happening is that
Now we're doing all the wiring.
Gil here got his heart broken.
John? Wow.
Some little Philly broke his heart.
Gibby, no. He's like, I'm over her already.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll be in Vegas soon.
What you trying to tell me, John?
Just say it, dude, you know? It's okay to fall in love in Vegas, you know?
It's time for the ultimate test.
I'm gonna leave it
Everything is wired up, plumbed, routed, resecured, and ready to go. This is our touchpad here. We did not have time to install the height level sensors, so that is the only thing that is not done yet, but the system does work without that, and you just control each side manually with our touchpad here. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. All right, let's go. Oh snap! Hit the front view, let's hit the front view. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dang.